everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Character. My name is Jordan-Paige, and I'm the show creator and host. Thank you so much for being here today. If you like what you see here today, please consider pressing the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when we post every single Tuesday and Thursday, and you can also follow us on Instagram at Breaking Character Show. This week, I am so excited to have my friend RJ on the show. RJ Arwen, he, him, is an 18-year-old college student majoring in musical theater and Nordic studies. Originally from Sweden, he has done theater for 14 years and has recently gone more professional, having done 4 shows in a row back in 2019 to 2020. Some of his credits include number 8 in The Wolves, Stoner Chick in Heathers the Musical, Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, and Kathy Selden in Singing in the Rain. Recently, he has started to create content for TikTok, cosplaying different characters from different medias that RJ enjoys. He doesn't have the largest following, but he's made so many good friends and has fun, and that's most important to him. So without further ado, let's head to Zoom.
Right. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here today with RJ. How are you doing today, RJ? What's going on?
I'm doing great. I just took a nap because I'm incredibly tired.
Hey, that sounds like a great plan. I hope your nap was good.
It was a great nap.
Yay. That's great. Well, as I was saying before I clicked record, I am so excited to have you on the show. I loved your vlogs. I love how you literally went from Sweden to Texas. I was like, this is phenomenal. I love this so much.
Yep.
I mean, wow. Versatility, right? Just like,
Truly.
well, let's start this off with a game of 2 truths and a lie. I'm going to attempt to guess which one the lie is, and we'll see if I actually get it this time. So whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Okay, so 1 is I speak 3 languages. 2 is my least favorite place that I've been to is Rome. 3 is my favorite snack is peanut butter and jelly.
Ooh, okay. All right. Even the fact that I actually know you is not helping me in this fact. All right. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm okay, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess that the second one's the lie?
That's wrong.
No, dang it, which one's the lie?
The peanut butter and jelly one. I'm allergic to peanuts.
Oh my gosh. Darn it. See, and that's a fact I did not know about you. So now I know to never, I mean, maybe it came up while we were at camp one time, but if it did, that was a few years ago.
Probably. Who knows? Yeah, it's been a long time.
I forgot. As a little bit of a backstory, RJ and I went to Camp Half Blood together a few years ago.
Siblings.
Nemesis siblings. We were both in the Nemesis cabin, and it was an awesome time. It was
the best.
It was a great time. All right. Well, I'm not surprised that I got that wrong. So moving on, when we talked about what you wanted to discuss in your interview, you mentioned really wanting to talk about your identity, and so specifically gender, nationality, and disability. So could you talk about that and how it affects how you live your life and or how you pursue the career paths that you want?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, especially being like trans and stuff, I have to think a lot of what roles I can play in the future when I choose to transition. Because right now I'm thinking, oh, I can be Sophie and Mamma Mia. That's in my voice range. Oh, I can do Wednesday Addams. That's my voice range. But I have to think to the future of when I start testosterone and my voice will drop. I have to think of new roles that'll suit me better and be in my voice range and keep up more with trying to keep my voice healthy and, singable in the future so it doesn't just voice crack all the time.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I can't imagine that, because that must be, you don't know. Like you don't know what your voice part is going to become then.
And that's the scariest part, not knowing. I hate not knowing. I need to have control over everything all the time or I freak out. So like it's exciting to know that I'll be more comfortable in the future, but also scary to know that I'll be different.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the same.
Yeah, that there are some things you can't put that control on. You just have to wait and see how they're going to be.
Yep, and it's different for everyone, so there's no one I can really attach myself onto and be like, oh, so this is how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Well, so speaking of theater and roles to play, ableism in theater and the various ways that the theater needs to change has been a topic that has been brought up for a while, as it should be. It needs to be addressed. Do you feel that theater is getting closer to fixing these issues, or do you feel that the pandemic maybe helped bring these issues to light at all?
I feel like the pandemic has definitely helped bring the issues to light, but I still feel like there's not much being done, anything to do about it.
Mm.
One big example is in 2019, Ali Stroker, the first woman on Broadway to be in a wheelchair. She was nominated for a Tony Award, but she had the whole ceremony, she had to be backstage because there were no ramps to get up onto stage, which that's horrible, not being able to sit with your fellow cast members, co-stars, friends in the audience to celebrate theater, just be stuck backstage with all the crew. And it's not that being with crew is fun, but like you're being
Well, yeah,
celebrated.
exactly. Absolutely. Backstage is not where your seat would have been if you were
Yeah.
not in a wheelchair.
And when she was in Deaf West Spring Awakening in like 2015, they had to carry her around the theater to show her around. They had to fix and repair the dressing room so she could have a bathroom that was accessible because there wasn't to begin with. They had to do construction on the theater to make it accessible for her because it wasn't in the beginning. And if it's not accessible for the actors, it's not accessible for the patrons, which limits who gets to be seen, who gets to see Broadway shows, which then goes into another conversation of how elitist Broadway is, but that's another hot topic for another day.
No,
Ugh.
I absolutely. There's, and I'm with you on the fact that there's a lot of talk around it, and you're like, okay, all talk, no action. Like,
Exactly.
we are like, okay, can we do we need to raise money to do something for the theater? Okay, let's get started with that. Let's actually take steps to do something instead of just being like, yeah, this could probably help.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you. Like, you're not doing
Yeah.
anything yet.
It just shows how prevalent ableism is in society and how little is done to help with it. It's like a forethought, afterthought, sorry, in people's minds that isn't really talked about. Because yes, homophobia, transphobia, racism, those are all important things to be talking about, but also you never really think of ableism in the end. It's just the one thing that constantly gets skipped over.
I think you put that really, really well. I know myself, just the other day I was looking at something and I was like, man, that's actually could be seen as ableist. And it was it was the age limit on kids menus for
Oh,
me, because I was like, okay,
yeah.
I have a
Especially like
very
sensory issues with like food and
sensory
stuff.
issues. Like, I'm really
Ugh.
sensitive to texture, and a lot of flavors are too like complicated, and my taste buds are like, what is this? We're not doing this. And so I'm like, I totally get, like, I was telling my parents about it, and they were like, well, they could start, like, they don't have to call it the kids menu. And I was like, no, 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 that's not my problem with it. My problem is the age limit on it. Is like,
Absolutely.
you could still keep calling it the kids menu if you want, but then don't, like, when I went to Disney, they didn't there is, they call it the kids menu, but you can order the kids menu, doesn't
Mhm.
matter how old you are. And I was like, that could be something that I hope will change. And I think with theaters too, there's I really love sensory friendly performances
Yes, I'm
where
so
they
happy they've been doing that.
I
That's
am
so
too.
great.
And I a friend of mine show that I'm gonna go see next weekend. I was gonna get to go to their sensory friendly performance, but unfortunately they didn't have enough people like to buy
Mm,
tickets for it. And so I understood from the theater perspective. I was
yeah,
like, I get that. You have to make sure that it's worth that. But
yeah.
I think if that could become a normal to at least have one sensory friendly performance, because I know sometimes, like, I have to bring earplugs because it's just loud. I'm like, I
I
want
had
to
to
hear what
have
you're
earplugs
saying.
at camp a few days ago because the grill was too squeaky and not good for ears. I was like,
No, it's just, it's
"Ooh,
not or like movie theaters too. I bring earplugs to movie
wow."
theaters. It's, I do, there's so many things, and theater is of course one of them, that you just, the more you think about it, you go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There are definitely things that could be changed to make it more accessible to
Mhm.
those with disabilities of various
Absolutely.
kinds.
And you don't really start thinking about it until you yourself start accepting the fact that you are neurodivergent, disabled. And then you're like, you have to unlearn all the ableist things in your mind, and it makes
Oh,
you
tell
feel
me
like a
about it.
jerk and you feel
Oh my
horrible about it.
gosh.
But you're like, this is what society has ingrained in me forever. And now it's
Uh,
actively working against me. So,
Yeah, it really does open your mind to being like, wow, there are more things than I realized. And I definitely contributed to that and I didn't realize it. And so as you said, unlearning that stuff and being like, no, or my personal favorite, unlearning that things that are normal should not be normal.
mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
I
Yep. Being in Sweden, I have learned that Europe is very not accessible for mobility aid users. There are no elevators anywhere, and the
uh,
ground is super uneven and not good to like. Oof, yes. Very old buildings that they do not want to touch and renovate,
yep.
which is not
It's
good.
historical. We can't touch it. Okay. All
It's
right.
fun.
Well, moving on to our wild card question here has nothing to do with anything. Would you rather win the lottery or work at the perfect job, and why?
Work at the perfect job because I'd be happier. Because if it was the perfect job, it'd be good people there too, and I like people. I'm very much a people person. But I already feel like I'm working at my dream job right now with Camp Alpha and
Yay!
all that. I'm having a great time.
I'm so glad to hear that. Camp Half-Blood was such a phenomenal. I would immediately come back to be a CIT or a counselor, except for the fact that I don't do well with the heat and it gets a little too hot there for me. And so I think
Yeah.
it would actually I would not be as helpful as I should
The
be because I would just be
cabins,
melting.
one of the cabins AC broke, so everyone had to like shove more people into different cabins. Good
Oh
time.
no.
Great time.
Oh no. I'm with you too though on that working the perfect job. I feel like if I won the lottery, I wouldn't know what to do.
I would probably just donate half the money.
I'd be like, what do I do with this?
Like that's too much money. I'm just a simple person.
Living my simple life. I want to, yeah. Alrighty, well, moving on to memory association. I've got my random word generator pulled up here on my phone. And when we get to a good word, because some of them are horrible, we we will say the first memory that pops into our head that we're willing to share when we
Okay,
hear that word. So
cool.
look at it. Hey, we don't have a bad one. This first one, our word is imposter.
Me trying to figure out my identity all of last summer and feel like, am I faking it? Am I actually,
Oh
is
no.
it? Yeah, good time.
Oh, oh my gosh. Speaking on it, well, I'll do imposter syndrome as well. Is horrible, and I know like every time I'm specifically like with because I've been fortunate enough that some of my stuff has won awards.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I'm always like, oh, I don't know if I should post about this because I think that I'm bragging and I don't want to seem like I am m- acting like I am more
Yep.
important. And I'm like, no, no, what are we doing? Or what, why are we
Yeah,
doing this?
I archive a lot of my Instagram posts because I'm like, do I really feel like that should be worthy of? Yeah, yep.
It's so
Oh,
many questions that are just like I didn't ask, like why did I want to ask these questions? I don't. Like why
yeah,
are you here?
yep.
Imposter syndrome is horrible. Or with the, my diagnosis recently, I'm like before it I was like I need to make sure my brain was like we need to make sure we have facts. We can't go in here and
Mhm.
what if we're pretending?
Absolutely.
And
I
I'm
always
like
like have notes and stuff, which I'm like, in the hindsight seems ridiculous to have, but I'm like, this will make people believe me.
yeah, it's like having this list of experiences that you're like, and I can tell this is why I know I struggle with this, not because emotionally I can tell, but I have to have these reasons why I can tell you, because
Hmm.
otherwise I don't believe myself, even though
Yeah.
I know that I'm speaking the truth.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so confusing. All right, moving on. We have so you create content on TikTok. I love TikTok. Which is
Yes.
awesome. I love your content so much. What has that been like and how is that different from other forms, other forms of content creation?
It is very hectic and a little stressful in my opinion because it's always such a demand for content that you feel like obligated to always post like every single day and very easy to get burnout rather than other places where it can be more personal. TikTok seems more of an for an audience type thing.
Mhm.
And I cosplay. I just want to dress up as characters and do silly stuff, but now people are like, I want more, and I'm like, okay.
I'm
So
just
it's
doing this for fun.
yeah, so now it's like it's not like a job. I don't get paid for it or anything, but like it feels like one because of the constant demand of people wanting stuff, and it's very easy to get burnout, and yeah, it's just very stressful.
Do you find additional question? Do you find that sometimes that additional pressure makes you want to stop doing it?
Oh,
Or yeah.
absolutely. I've had that thought so many times of like, do I just want to post cosplay, or can I just allow myself to post random silly videos that I make that I think are funny? Or can I just like not post for a couple days and not like lose any followers or anything? Or can I just like quit it absolutely? But then there's the stuff that I've made that I'm really proud of that I still want it to be out there, so I can't really quit. And then I get new ideas that I want to put out there that I can't really quit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the constant back and forth in my brain.
The back and forth of, it's something that you love and you enjoy doing it, but the pressure that comes with it
Hmm.
is like, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Can we not?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like it's a very it's a platform. I mean, just like with other social media, the weirdest stuff will go viral all of a sudden.
Hmm.
Even if it's nothing. It could be a silly video someone took of their cat with no no want of actually going viral, and then it's like, okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
How do I do this? Like the first video I did on TikTok, which was me just introducing myself, got it's not viral by any means, but it got more attention than I was thinking
Yeah.
it would. And I was like, oh, this is strange. How okay.
Very strange.
And thankfully I haven't felt the pressure just yet of creating stuff. But I'm not a cosplayer. I love cosplay, but I'm not
Yeah. Fair
I don't
enough.
have the vision for that.
Fair
My
enough.
brain's just like, nope. But I do wonder if eventually in the future that will be what hits. Or I know I had a break
Yeah.
between the rewrites that I'm doing right now, and there was a pretty big break in between the second one and the third one now. And I was like, I feel kind of bad that I'm not updating anything, but I can't say
Yeah.
anything. And then I just had to keep like, okay, I just have to wait. Like I hope people understand that if they care about it and they want to keep, they're waiting for this next update. Like I can't say anything. Like I have to
Yep.
sit here and I'm waiting just like the rest of them. So that pressure is really interesting, and how it's the what is it? It's the constant stimulation, right? The
Yep.
constant,
Which is
new
good on one
content.
end for the users that take in the content, but it's also stressful for the people that put out the content.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been on both sides of that. Absolutely.
Mhm.
When I'm looking through someone's account and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait until they do another video. And then I'm like,
Yep.
oh no, like I shouldn't,
Yeah.
I've never commented and been like, I want the next, because
No,
no.
yeah,
But in
no.
my head, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for that. And then I'm like, no, it takes time. Like they
Yeah.
have time that they need to take to do
It
that.
takes, especially for disabled people, it takes energy that they usually don't have.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Could you give some advice to those that are watching? This could be any type of advice you want to give, career advice, life advice, anything.
Sometimes it's okay to block people. I've had to learn that very harshly. Lots of not okay times, but it's okay to block people in the end and completely cut them off and disassociate with them. And that's perfectly fine. If it's for you and your health, that is 100% okay.
I think that's a very important reminder.
Yes.
That's something I forget about a lot. And I'm like, I don't want to be mean. And then I'm like, but my brain is like, please no.
No,
Um,
yeah.
so when things get tough, what pushes you to keep going?
This is gonna sound the worst, but the fact that I kind of just like have to. Like, I just kind of have to. There's nothing that really actively pushes me to keep doing stuff. It's just the fact that this is what I've been doing. It's a routine now. It's just taking it a day at a time. It's eventually you'll be back in bed at night and just you get to rest for a little while before it happens all over again. Which sounds really depressing, but sometimes that's how life is.
No, it is. There are sometimes, as you said, one day at a time. There are those
Mhm.
times when it's just, this is the routine. I feel like that's how it was with school. It was
Mhm.
just
And then
again
when
and
the
again.
pandemic started, everything got completely turned upside down because I didn't have a routine anymore, and I
Oh,
need routine. I need routine.
I do too. I understand that. I empathize with that a lot. And lastly, where can people follow you and keep up with what you do?
Oh my goodness, my Instagram where I post a bunch of silly personal stuff. It's RJ Arwen, first and middle name. And then my TikTok is Leo Arcturus. I put it in the vlog. It's very difficult to spell, but that's where I do all my cosplay stuff. Um, and then my YouTube where I sometimes post like music or like vlogs or funny stuff like that is also RJ Arwen. I have a bunch of camp stuff on there. Go to Camp Half Let Austin.
Yes. Well, all of your social media will be in the description below, so everyone can go follow you on all of those platforms. And thank you so much again for being on the show. It was
Thank you
so
for
good
having
getting
me.
to, absolutely. It was so good getting to talk to you face to face again after not getting to do so in a little bit.
It's been so long.
It has. It has. Well, yes. All right. Well, I'm going to click stop on the recording and we are going to head out of Zoom.
Thank you all so much again for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can go ahead and click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you can follow us on Instagram at Breaking Character Show. If you yourself are a creative and you're interested in being on the show, you can check out the description box below. There's a link where to submit yourself. And if you want to follow RJ or I on any of our social medias, all of that is down in the description as well. I am so excited that my next guest on the show will be Catherine Madison. They are someone that I have known for a few years, and I am so excited to have them on the show. Thank you all so much again for watching, and we will see you next Tuesday.